In this morning's Business Insight, last month Cincinnati's newest sports franchise was announced, and the team is wasting no time in getting ramped up and ready to go. FC Cincinnati will begin play in 2016 in the United Soccer League, a second-tier league in U.S. pro soccer. 11 top-level Major League Soccer teams have their top development team in the USL, making it similar to AAA baseball. The majority owner is Carl Linder III, and the team's president is Jeff Birding, former director of sales and public relations for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jeff is with Business Courier editor Rob Dahlmeyer in the studio to talk about where things stand for the team as it prepares for its spring debut. Gentlemen.
Peg, thanks very much. Jeff, thanks so much for being here.
Great to be here.
You're busy. I don't know how many copies of that tie you have, but those are those are wonderful colors. We talked about the other day about that. Did you ever think you would leave pro football for soccer?
Well, I grew up playing soccer. I coached my kids in soccer, was the president of one of Cincinnati's largest soccer clubs. So I have a real passion for soccer, and I'm wired to try to make our city better, and I think having professional soccer makes Cincinnati a better place to work and live and play.
So you're brand new, you're just starting out. You're going to be playing at Nippert, correct?
Yes.
So maybe you could just give everybody who hasn't read much about this yet a little bit of an idea about when you're starting and who's coaching the team, who happens to be, by the way, sort of soccer royalty.
So our head coach is John Harkes. He's in the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame, captained the World Cup teams back in the 90s, was the first American man to play in the English Premier League, and started and starred in England.
Right.
And then he came back and won championships as the MLS formed with DC United and the Columbus Crew. So we have a first-rate coach. Our games will start this coming March of 2016. The season really runs from the end of March to the end of September. We'll play 30 regular season home games. 15 at home, 15 away. Then we'll have a preseason friendly sometime in mid-March, late March. And then we'll also play a U.S. Open Cup where all the teams, MLS, NASL, and USL all play together. We have a great league, 29 teams. As indicated, 11 of them are really the AAA team for an MLS. Right. And then there's 18 independents, and some of them are in big markets: Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Sacramento, and Louisville, and of course Cincinnati. And someday we'd love to earn the right to move up to MLS, but we have a great league in the USL, and we're real thrilled to join it.
The ownership group, at the Courier, the ownership group was really of interest to us, obviously, people that we know very, very well. Maybe you could talk a little bit about who owns the team and why they decided to get in on it.
So our majority owner is Carl Linder III and members of his family. They're big soccer fans. Christopher Linder played soccer at a high level. Carl had a taste of traveling, watching his son play. They were at the Olympics and stayed in the same hotel, I believe, as the Brazilian team, watched the Brazilian team train, went to the games.
Oh, wow.
And just he's developed a real passion for soccer. He's friends with some of the MLS owners who have encouraged him to get in the league. We have minority owners that include Scott Farmer from Cintas, Jack Wyant, George Joseph, Steve Hightower, and then we have a 5% ownership stake with the Dutch Capital Group, who we acquired the license from, and they bring a real expertise, because one of the things that we want to do in our business model is bring international friendlies to Cincinnati. 2 summers ago, there were 100,000 people at Michigan Stadium. Right. This year, there was 90,000 at the Rose Bowl watching these international friendlies. We'd like to have them right here at the University of Cincinnati. We want to have youth tournaments where you have the U20s, 20-year-old soccer players. They haven't really started their professional career. Bring them to Cincinnati, the teams from Germany and the Netherlands and other countries, along with the U.S., come here, play a tournament in Cincinnati, go to Kings Island, go to a Reds game, stay in our hotels, eat our food, and have a great week.
One of the interesting sort of rubs about soccer is that it's always been a very high participation level here. Soccer youth leagues in Cincinnati, you were very involved in them, are huge. I mean, I think you told me the other day we have, what number are we, 5th?
Top 5 per capita in the United States in terms of youth players. Over 50,000 youth players in Greater Cincinnati.
So you would think that at some point, but we've been saying this for decades now, at some point it would transfer into adults who want to watch it.
Right.
So we've had a couple of pro soccer teams in the past, obviously not with the kind of owners that, or with the kind of management that you have now, but what about 2015, 2016, in your mind, is different than 10 years
Sure,
ago,
I understand.
12 years ago?
Well, a couple things. Number one, you need a place to play, and respectfully, if you're playing in a high school stadium, it's hard to really suggest in the public mind that you're a professional team.
Right.
We're playing at Nippert Stadium with everything that you need: suites, club seats, the advertising, concession stands, great field. So we have the place to play. Number two, you need the strong ownership group that's willing to be patient as you build this startup from scratch and have the resources to sign the top level coach, the top level players. So we have the ownership. You need the management, of course, and I think the senior team that we've brought in, including John, suggests that we have the management to be successful. And the last thing I'll just say is the interest in the sport among adults here has always been strong. You look at the ratings for the World Cup games as examples, the ratings for MLS in this market, it's very strong. There's just not been the pro team to call our team, and that's what we're finally going to have.
Well, I think you're set up to succeed. I'm a soccer fan, so I'm probably biased, but good luck to you, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you a lot more in the future, Jeff. Appreciate it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great for Cincinnati.
Thank you.